with Rawn Shah for tonight's E2O meetup in Paris. Rawn, you want to discuss tonight that the work is broken and that we have to hack it. So what's behind this catchy theme?
So one of the problems I've had in my experience, and lots of other people have also told me the same thing, is that we know things are hard to do. Thing is broken. Basically, the system of what we do at work prevents us from actually getting work done. So sometimes it's the process, sometimes it's just the order of things. You have to do things. You cannot say no to doing things. So you take on more workload than you can possibly do, and then the productivity as well as results don't come out as well. And then people ask, "Wait, what's this? What's wrong with the system itself?" So when we're talking about work hacking, it is thinking about redoing or reseeing how you do your work on a personal level, individual level, as well as with who you work with. So a lot of the ideas is the same as in social business. Your relationships matter. Who you trust in and to do your work and to help you do your work also matter. So the bigger problem is people tend to think of it as the system is broken, whether it's the management system or the enterprise processes, and they just don't feel like they can do anything about it themselves. So we want to see and discover and talk to lots of people as much as we can about what techniques do you do to try and change, right? Change it on your personal level, change it with your team, and then how can you continue that? Can you scale that? Is that we think of it in terms of fractal work. So small scale that continues to repeat in a larger and larger scale across the organization.
Is hacking the word just another phrase for changing the culture?
And well, we think of it in terms of changing your approach to work. So part of it is eventually it turns out to, you get one person doing it, 5 person, 10, 20 person. Eventually it becomes the overall culture of the organization. But it's not necessarily, tackling, let's go change the culture of the organization. No, let's help people do things better in their own group and their own team, and then go on to let's try and find out the best ways that we can actually spread that. So it is adoption evangelism of the whole system.
So it's more on the organizational side of doing the work rather than on the emotional side of feeling about work.
Well, I think emotions are never too far. So one of the points that I found was that in Gallup Business Journal, they were saying we have a problem with project management. Project management is every year. It's been done for many, many years, right? Every year there's still about somewhere between 10 and 30% projects fail. Why? Well, we've had so many different ways. We've had Six Sigma, we've had Lean, we have had Agile. They tend to reduce it, but it never gets rid of it, because what they do is look at work in a completely rational way. They forget that no matter how much tasks and projects you have, there is the emotional side of your work as well. And that emotional side comes out in things we call trust. Trust between people, trust in the team, the organization, and trust is an element of culture. So it builds up, and you have to look at it in both respects. Rational part of it is certainly where you start, but also you think about it in terms of, why would I want to do this for someone else?
But can big companies come back to a new form of working? Because the new form of working that you're talking about, for me, it sounds like a kind of more entrepreneurial approach to working, like startups do. So, for example, Lee Bryant also moved to this way at the moment. But can we install this into bigger companies?
So, and again, I think if you think about it in terms of the entire big company, I say no, because it will take too long to get there. But it is exactly what they ask for. They ask for, how do I innovate the way that we work? How do we innovate the way that we manage our business? How do we innovate the way we do the task itself? But when I look at it, I think of it as each team in an organization, whether it's one manager or you're working across 5 different divisions and departments, that group of people, right? That is where the heart of things are. That is where you can actually get change happening. And that's what we've seen in my experience in lots of large organizations. Change happens in those teams. And it happens in another team, it happens in another team. They're all slightly different from each other. But that's where it starts happening before you start spreading it out.
Well, I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. Thank you for this short interview.
Thank you.